Hey
Hello,
guys!
everybody.
Hey,
I am making sure that it doesn't also play like autoplay like it tends to, which is kind of a jerk.
I got the notification you're live, so yep.
Awesome. It just
Yep.
auto plays in the background. Suddenly we have an echo. Hi, guys, everybody. We're Facebook Live experts fighting Facebook Live. No, I'm just kidding. I am surrounded by 2 out of 3 of my panelists. I'm with Monique Johnson and Ross Brand. Our friend Karen Graves is in Aruba, so we don't blame her for not being here, but she's here in spirit. Today is the last day of the South by Southwest panel picker voting period. Did I say that right?
that was very good.
Yeah.
Yes, that was
So-
really good.
We have been hustling for 3 weeks asking for your votes, and we're going to do it one more time today. As you may or may not know, we have put ourselves in the running to be a South by Southwest panel presentation in March, not August. This is August. In March at South by Southwest, which is, if you're not familiar, I don't know, one of the biggest conferences I can imagine, right? Like it's, in terms of things I want to do, it's up there with TED. How about you guys?
Yep.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Definitely up there. So we have put ourselves in the running, and the name of our panel that we've proposed is Facebook Live, Build Tribes and Actually Make Money. And as part of the voting process, we have asked all of our friends, family, colleagues, and friends of their family and colleagues to vote for us so that we can get South by Southwest decision makers' attention. That's what we're looking to do with these votes. You can only vote once, so it really doesn't take much time. You want to go to livestreamuniverse.com/SXSW, which we've practiced saying. I've got it now.
I know, right? I used to pop up on it so much.
Oh my gosh. So you go there. The mobile experience is less than stellar. So we recommend doing it on a desktop or laptop. You log in, and if you don't have a login, you just set it up. You give them your email address. They are going to ask that just so they know you voted once. And then if you really love us, because we know you do, you'll also leave a comment on why you think we would be a really good panel and they should pick us.
We love the comments.
We love the comments. That really helps. And we have no way of gauging how many people have voted.
Right.
And so the comments are kind of like our lifeblood of like, I think we're doing good.
Right.
So as part of this, we have been doing 15 days, today's day 15 of content and talking about Facebook Live as a thank you for your votes. As far as I know, I have not seen another panel do that. I think that was genius. And I can give these two guys credit because I think it was Monique and Ross who came up with this idea. And so the first week we did a recap, the second week we did a recap, and today is the recap of week 3. So let's talk about what we shared and share those tips again in brief. Monique, you went first on Monday and you were talking about using Facebook Live from a mobile perspective, like being mobile and doing it anywhere and sharing all kinds of tips and tools. So give us the 101 of what you shared.
Sure. So the easiest way to get started, of course, is this is like one of the most powerful devices you can carry around with you. But a lot of times what kind of will help to set you apart is not to have like that amateurish shaky video. And a lot of times it's great to have just like a few little things that you can just carry around. So for instance, like a selfie stick or what you call a tripod attachment, one of these right here, which you can get them pretty cheap on Amazon. And what it does is it expands, and then you can attach it to an actual, so it expands like this. This is a 6 Plus. So just to let you guys know, it fits any phone size. You have 2 areas where you can attach it to an actual tripod or your selfie stick or something like that. So at least you can have some sort of stabilized video, or you can set it up where, especially if you're by yourself, you have it a little distance away from you, and you're able to do what it is you need to do with live streaming video. I also shared like this tripod I love. I mean, there's different ones out there. There's Archon mounts and stuff, but this tripod I shared specifically, I got it for $8 on Amazon, and it's heavy enough to, it's strong enough to hold a DSLR, and I have a DSLR, so just to stabilize it and just do a mini tripod. And like right now I'm streaming through my iPad, so basically I'm all about the mobile if I can. Like especially when we first started doing this and announcing our our participation in this. I was at the airport.
Yeah.
I was at the airport. I literally had my iPad on this little mini tripod on my suitcase. And that just goes to show you should not allow where you are as a excuse for you to go live. And so the only thing is, like Ross talked about this, I think last week, audio makes or breaks your video. So it's also really good to have at least some sort of headphones that has a microphone, or right now I'm using this more advanced type of microphone, but some sort of lavalier, which is those type of microphones where you can clip on here and then you just plug it directly into your mobile device. But if you guys go back to the actual stream, I shared more advanced type of things, but just to be clear and recap with you guys, this is just from the beginner stage up to the more intermediate advanced level from a mobile setup perspective.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about live streaming that's really fun, in my opinion, is that you honestly can get started with holding your phone far enough away and press go live button. And then you can get extraordinarily geeky, I don't know how else to put it, with all of the bells, whistles, and microphones and tools and switcher tools and different softwares and stuff like that. Right now, we're live streaming via Zoom webinar to live stream over to Facebook Live, but there's so many tools, and I think between the four of us, we've used all of them.
Yeah,
probably. Yeah,
testing the newest ones, and I can't wait. I don't know about you guys. I can't wait to see what happens at South by Southwest.
Yeah,
Ross and I were talking about that earlier this week. There's always a nice, what did you call it? A reveal. There's always reveals.
Right. Yeah, there's always launches. Yep, at South by Southwest. That's how Meerkat got launched, right?
Right.
It was from South by Southwest.
Yeah. A lot of
I actually had John Burke from Roker Media on Livestream Stars last night, and he had a video that we showed, and it was Al Roker up on stage at South by Southwest holding up his phone saying, "I'm on Meerkat. Look, I have 2 viewers." And that's how Meerkat really took off, and that was sort of also their, when they started going, all in on live streaming.
I'm super excited that we're going to be there for whatever's coming out this year,
right?
Which we can't even imagine what it is. But I'm excited personally about what Facebook is going to be putting forward. I'm expecting to learn about that. And I don't know about you, but we're going to be in the front row of those seats. Getting everything
Definitely.
And sharing it with our 4 individual communities. Okay, so then Tuesday, Ross shared his skill set. Now, live streaming, there's a lot of different ways to live stream. And so we wanted to balance out what we were talking about these last 15 days between technical and content. And so this week, Ross was sharing a content form that I think he's the best at in all of live streaming. This is why.
Thank you.
You're the best interviewer on live streaming. This is why I like to think of you as the Ryan Seacrest of live streaming, which is a name that he is not completely down with, but that's okay. So tell us a little bit about a few tips, if you will,
sure,
about being a great interviewer and using live streaming as an interviewing process.
Well, I think interviewing is a great way to do content for people at any level, right? So if you're new to live streaming, you probably don't want to go on alone necessarily the entire time. But in terms of using it for your business, it's a great way to introduce your work culture, what products you're about to launch, and tell those stories. It's a form of storytelling. We think of it more as like investigative journalism, or you're interviewing somebody because you're going to find out their flaw or their weak point or whatever. But in fact, it's just another form of storytelling, and it's often an extremely effective form because people are responding to questions and they don't have to worry about, am I being too humble, or they're just answering the question. So I find that you can take a mobile phone into an office group and interview an employee about what they're working on or what the product is, somebody who actually is developing the product. If you have a store, you can introduce the sales associates who people would be asking for help when they came into the store. If you're recruiting, show off the career paths of people who started in the mailroom and are now in the C-suite. What was it like when you got started? You know, how did you advance? Tell your story. In other words, it's a great way to come up with content without having to script it first, without having to do blog posts and all that kind of stuff that may or may not get eyeballs. Let the individuals tell the story, and it comes across very real and authentic. It doesn't come across as a PR piece. And it's really much more effective than some of the sort of stock photo ways companies will show off their employees and things like that, if they're actually even their employees. But tips for interviewing, my biggest tip is listen. Just listen to what's being said by the person you're interviewing, because often the best question will be not what you thought you were going to ask, but something that they said that then you're able to take the discussion deeper or go in a direction you didn't think. And as you get more experienced and more comfortable watching the chat, that's another resource for bringing in questions. Somebody will know more about the topic than you know and contribute something in the chat that leads to a great question, or they will know the person you're interviewing really well and suggest something, or they'll just have a great idea, or you'll just feel like this is the best way to get everybody involved by bringing in questions. It balances, it breaks up, so it's not just two people talking. So I think if you focus on listening and also listening to the chat, right? Not only listening to the person you're interviewing, but being aware of what people are saying in the chat without losing connection. Those are the two things that people could do right away to upgrade their interviewing skills. And if you are new at it, or even if you're experienced, you may want to have some notes about the topics you want to ask, or even script your questions, but don't become a prisoner to that script, because you need to listen. And you'll see it at the highest levels. You'll see it at, people making $10 million a year to be anchors will ask somebody a question that they just answered because, they're going to go down the script. Right, right. And
I've been interviewed by so many people that will email me ahead of time, here are the questions I'm going to answer. And so then it's not exciting as the interviewee to be going on a show that's that scripted. And then I feel like my answers are kind of buttoned up and turned down. They're not as interesting because I'm trying not to answer question number 5 with question number 3. And then sometimes I accidentally do because there's overlap. And I find that really challenging. I love your style that you, and I think these are important skills for live streamers to recognize. You think interviewing is going to be the easy way to get yourself out there. And it is, because you're not by yourself on live streaming. Right. So to that respect, you get to share the spotlight, and that's really powerful. But to be an interviewer that matters, like Ross Brand, to be the interviewer that shares the spotlight, because that part's important too. You have to have that Oprah-esque quality. You have to involve the audience, or the audience feels ignored. And it is a balancing act. It is a skill. And I think a lot of people think, I'm just going to read a bunch of questions and talk to that person and ignore the audience. And it doesn't work. And that's why I think you're so great. And also, I have to go to the Ryan Seacrest thing. While you were talking, this is what I imagine. Can you see this, Monique? So we got Ross Brand with a microphone, putting it in people's faces and interviewing people at South by Southwest. Myself and Karen holding 2 different cameras, and Monique directing the whole thing with her little switcher apps, making all the fun camera angles. I see like this happening. You see this happening?
Yeah, that would actually be kind of sweet. Yeah.
That would be pretty freaking amazing. And of course, we'll each get interviewed by the fabulous Ross Brand. I think that's important too.
And then we can all switch roles around.
Yeah.
You can interview people about Hilda, and, I can hold a camera and Monique can interview, and I can play around with the different apps, and we all learn all the different roles and come away, showcasing what people who resonate with our content, have to say, and what they're excited and interested in that's going on at South by Southwest.
Yeah, I think it'll be just amazing. And I think I can't wait to see all the different people that we'll get to meet, and also all the different opportunities. We are cooking up a lot of different ideas of how the panel is important.
And Karen will be back from vacation too.
Karen will be back from Aruba.
She can have a role.
We're going to take us with her. We're very, very upset. We love you, Karen. But yeah, Karen.
I'm just jealous. I wish I was there.
Karen will teach us how to clean up because Karen is so great at sales. And so we'll be able to, I think we'll all walk away with new clients and new people in our communities, but also it's going to be really fun to virtually take our communities with us. That's
right.
what I'm excited about. So not only will you see us at the conference and at the mixers and at all the different events, but you also see us because we're all staying together. You also see us having a pajama party. It'll be fabulous. I can't wait.
Right.
Okay. So then after your interview talk, we stood in for Karen because again, we believe vacation's important as much as we're picking on her. And the three of us talked about personality on Facebook Live. I love that discussion. So let's kind of recap that a little bit. Monique, what do you think was your bottom line point of why personality matters on Facebook Live?
Well, I like to tell people the formula to successful live stream is educate and entertain. And the entertainment part, it trumps education no matter what. So personality is definitely important. If you do not seek to include some sort of personality to your live streams, you're not going to be successful, hands down. Just letting you guys know, it's just how it is. And it's just, I always like to tell people, just imagine those boring classes you took and your teacher was oh my goodness, the worst, monotone speaking type of person, and you're nodding off. I want you to put yourself in that shoes, and that's what the shoes you should be feeling when you're doing live streaming and looking at your audience. You want to have some sort of personality. Now, some people, they get caught up in saying they don't have a personality. Just being in front of the camera is really daunting to them. So yeah, you could do live streams where you're just sharing your screen, but at least have your voice have inflections. And, I'm sure Ross can really talk to you about this because he comes from the radio world, but the way that your voice comes across is very, very important. So either way, you got to have some sort of entertainment piece, and that's where the personality really comes through.
Agreed. And, Ross, you were talking about how in that conversation, there is an aspect of performance art to being on radio or on live streaming.
Well, I think the natural tendency, right, is that we're getting on to talk about our business or our brand or whatever. And so we're going to button up. We don't think that we're talking to a human being, right? And so when we're around our friends and, nobody really uses a telephone, but when I was getting into radio, I would say that the best chemistry among hosts sounded like two friends talking on the phone. Friends who can disagree, but who laugh, who argue, who have an interesting, passionate discussion about things that they care about, right? Yeah. And so rather than the tendency to dial it down, to fight that, you need to, as Monique said, have a little more inflection in your voice, speak a little softer at times, raise your volume a little bit, pause for effect, stop and start, and things like that. You don't have to come into it all conscious of it, but just know that your tendency is, okay, I'm in camera, now's my presentation, so come alive. Think of a friend. I know some people tape somebody that they like talking to next to their camera, things like that. But the importance of personality is that it's that personal connection that you're making with people who are watching that is going to result in them deciding whether or not they want to do business with you. Just giving out the information monotone, as Monique said, isn't enough. They want to feel they're getting to know you. You're a real person. They want to support you. I mean, it's really cliche, but it's almost like be yourself, but be that version of yourself that you are when you're talking with friends and maybe not the person that you are when you're in a job interview or something like that and you're nervous and whatever. And, and you have to walk the line, right? You have to be professional. You have to know that this is going to be recorded and, somebody could record it. It could last forever. So we want to be professional, but that doesn't mean you don't have a personality, right? And when you're the center stage and you need to kind of command it and you're not, You're no longer the junior employee sitting in the back of a meeting who's supposed to be sort of mellow and keep their place and just speak when spoken to. I don't care whether you're working the mailroom or you're CEO. If you're given this platform to represent the business, you have to take it up. You have to take it up a notch and really bring some personality so that you connect with people. And you'll see that these big brands, when they do product videos and things like that, they never go boring on it, right? They always go entertaining, or they add elements in production. And since we're live and not going to be adding elements in production necessarily, or adding big elements, right? It's really your smile, it's your laugh, it's your ability to connect with people and make it something that draws people into you so that they feel they get to know you and like you, and then they want to support you by doing business with you.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we were talking about how we all have kind of different faces, different moods that you have, and you bring those different moods to the different things you're talking about, and we also talked a little bit about what time. That's a question we get all the time. What time should I live stream? And my recommendation is always when you're at your best. Like we can make ourselves crazy with, well, when will I have the numbers that Monique, you are always talking about, right? When will I have the numbers of people watching me live? Your success in live streaming is not about the number of people watching you live, because replays are where most of the people are going to watch this anyway. Your success in live streaming is consistency and constancy, right? And that you keep showing up and you're bringing that personality. You're getting better and better at this. It is a craft. There is a craft.
Right.
But your comments, Ross, lead right into what I was talking about on Thursday, which is making sure that people get you. And in order for people to get you, you need to tell your story. And Monique, I'm sure you were over there going, Jenny, because you've been telling me for years to quit being so polished and to share more about me and who I am, which is really uncomfortable. It's really uncomfortable when you are so used to professionalism being about everybody else. And depending on your field, that can be even doubly hard. I know for Karen and I, as coaches, we spend our professional time talking with other people about them, not about us. So the idea of kind of revealing who we are and what we're all about and telling our stories is really uncomfortable, incredibly, incredibly powerful though, because that is what I have found is the secret to building my tribe and to actually making money. People are not going to call you if they don't get you, if they don't know you.
Because people are buying you, not your program or your product or your service. They're buying you.
Yeah, they're right. They're buying. They have to trust you. Mm-hmm. They have to trust you. And so what they want to figure out is, will that person get me? Mm-hmm. And the first way for them to figure that out is if they get you. Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I think it's also really important that you show so much personality so you scare off the people who are not going to get you. And I think that's where we screw it up. We don't want to tell the wrong story. We don't want to show the wrong side of our personality. We don't want to say too much about ourselves because we might turn some people off. Mm-hmm. I'm here to tell you, work your ass off to turn off as many humans as possible, because you don't want the people who are not going to get you and you're not going to get to be taking up your time with a sales call. Mm-hmm. You want to be connecting with people that you are meant to serve, people that you're just going to have a blast with working together, no matter what you do, coaching or whatever you do. So I want you to take that personality piece and tell your story and put it all together. So I challenged everybody. I challenge you guys again today to tell a piece of your story. Tell us what you're all about. Tell us, take us inside of your day-to-day life. Monique is always after me to do the behind the scenes thing. And I'm like, why? Who would care? And then I just,
people care. People are nosy. People are curious. Also, I'm being serious. Like it's true. It's true. And then also to add to what Jenny was saying is, it doesn't always have to be hero stories. It's okay to share failures. Okay. You'll see a lot of these influencers out there. I think that's what, especially those who are really authentic, that's what really makes them stand out, is because they're also sharing their failures. It's not always going to be the happy-go-lucky phase either.
Right. And these stories don't need to also be
elaborate,
profound.
Yes.
Or, this isn't your autobiography. You know what I mean? I think that's what other people think is, well, I'm going to share my story, and they have to find like their most tragic moments.
Mm-hmm.
You could be sharing your story about how you fell on your ass when you stepped out of the Uber this morning. I don't care.
Right.
I want to hear like who you are and what you're all about, or, you know, whatever's going on with you.
Right.
You know, I found that when I was doing my updates, I used to record them. I would record them in Wirecast, and if I messed up, I would start again and redo it, right? Or I would edit or whatever. And then as time pressure just made it too hard to do that, I started going live. First, just like, oh my God, I got to get this done. Let's go live. It's the only way to get it done. But I realized that by going live, when I messed up, if I laughed at it or I just went on or I made a quick pun or something like that, people loved that. They loved that more than the damn update itself. And so the quality difference between recorded and live after you get used to doing this isn't so different that having you know, a couple of mistakes in there, it just shows that, hey, you're human, you're being yourself. And, you know, one of the things I say, like a lot of CEOs in crisis communication would be better off grabbing their cell phone and taking it head on and just saying, hey, we messed up, or this didn't work out as we planned. And of course, they have to be careful about the language they use. They don't want to encourage lawsuits and all that. But rather than sending 7 versions of it through PR and then coming up with, you know, I'm sorry if we offended anybody, but we don't know really what we did that could have offended anybody. But if you took offense, that does not seem great. And, you know, if they just went on and said, hey, this isn't us, whatever happened, we're going to fix it. We apologize to anybody that was inconvenienced or whatever. Do it from a cell phone. Don't overproduce it. Don't make it look like an infomercial. Don't make it, don't read from a script, and you speak a little bit from the heart. And I think if you're savvy enough to have gotten to be a CEO of a major company or whatever, you can probably handle doing that, right? And why shouldn't PR and corporate communications and marketing be coaching their C-suite people on how to respond in real time? Because no longer is it going to be okay to wait till the next day. It's not already, but although people do it and they wait for 2 days to have a press conference and whatever. Meanwhile, Twitter's blowing up and the company's been shamed left and right and center. And sometimes, you know, they deserve to have a fair defense or have their side heard, or at least say, hey, we care enough to make sure this doesn't happen again. So I think this is something, what you're talking about, Jenny, is something that businesses can use as well. It's not just our personal stories, but just like you said, for clients, some will reject, some will accept, right? Well, businesses need to show if you're trying to recruit employees, show your work culture that will attract those who would fit into a fun startup atmosphere, and it would repel those who want a buttoned up 9-to-5 hierarchical organization. And so you have half the resumes to screen, right?
Right. Live streaming.
And you don't hire somebody who then you find out 20 weeks later is miserable because they're not used to working in this environment. Right now, hopefully along the way, you have other ways to screen for that. But why not start by showing who you are instead of, you know, again, with the stock photo of 4 employees cheering and jumping up, you know, or the video, somebody falling back off a ladder or whatever. Nobody's buying that. And particularly the millennial generation. I mean, they grew up with reality TV and real and raw and live and all that. And again, live and informal, like a cell phone doesn't have to be unprofessional. And that's where people get mixed up. They picked up a device like this and sometimes they go unprofessional. And then that's what scares the companies, like, oh, we can't do this.
Well, yeah, I mean, what's interesting for the solopreneurs out there who are looking to figure out, you know, how do I take Facebook Live and utilize this tool for my purposes so that I can compete with the bigger businesses like Ross is talking about? Well, that's what is so exciting. It is a level playing ground, right? You just need a decent Wi-Fi signal. Right? That's all you need. You can even be using some older phones, right, Monique? It doesn't even need to be the latest and greatest iPhone or Android. You just need to, Facebook has really made it so that we can, for free, be Facebook members, for free set up our Facebook pages, for free start up our Facebook groups, and for free use these tools. And of course, you can get really fancy. You can start spending money to make your production values better and to use all these different tools, but you don't have to. Now, if you're listening to us and you're thinking, okay, how do I take all of what you guys have taught and do something? What we recommend you do is start by building a tribe. Start by bringing people together in some way, whatever that looks like. Maybe it's putting them on an email list. Maybe it's creating a Facebook group where you live stream there. There's so many different ways to do it, but you want to start bringing people together. And Facebook Live lets you be the Pied Piper of that group. It lets you lead that group. It lets you show up and as much as you want, as often as you'd like, and share all different pieces of yourself. So I love that Facebook Live lets you do that, because then once you've built that audience, you've built that tribe, you've built that community, they're going to support you to the ends of the earth. And that's the community where you'll actually make money. And that's what we want to talk about at this panel. We want to bring all of our individual expertise and experiences with this and share it with you. And here's the part that is really important to us. Every single one of us, all four of us, have done this from scratch. Mm-hmm. Nobody, we didn't buy a list. Nobody was like, oh, here, I bequeath you my business, and now you have 100,000 people. No, we started from zero. We got on Facebook Live just like you might be, starting from scratch, and we've built everything that we've needed from scratch. And now we have profitable businesses that are supporting us. And I don't know about you guys, but Facebook Live is my number one tool for telling the world about who I am and what my work is all about. Is that the same for you guys?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Well, I'm a live streaming strategist, so of course that would make sense, right? So yeah, definitely. And it's the quickest way, in my opinion, especially if you're starting from scratch, okay? Because Facebook is making it so easy for eyeballs to see who you are and your exposure. But at the same time, it's important for you not to go about it willy-nilly. There needs to be some sort of strategy or process behind it. And so hopefully by attending our panel, because I'm going to say we will be there, you'll learn how to do that. Okay. So I'm just saying. We're
going to be there. I've decided.
We're going to be there.
Yeah.
We're totally going to be there. And that's because you guys are voting for us. It's because we've put together something really wonderful. We've got all the bases covered. We're diverse in opinions and diverse in who we are and what we do. I think that what we have to say is really important. I don't think everybody at certainly there'll be the big corporations at South by Southwest, but there's also the people like us who just are trying to figure out, how do I, as a one woman or one man show, become a big freaking deal, as Karen would put it. How does Karen put it? How do I go from a best kept secret to a big damn deal?
Right.
Facebook Live is the quickest way to do that now. You don't have to wait for somebody to invite you to be the keynote on a stage. You can do the keynote right now with a decent Wi-Fi service.
Mm-hmm. Right. And you can show what you can do, whether it's a keynote, whether it's interviewing, whether it's sharing a webinar style.
Yeah, demonstration.
Whatever it is, you can show in a way that you would have had to break down through several layers of gatekeepers to get a chance to do in the past, or spent more money than a small business could afford on a film crew to come and shoot an infomercial. Right? Now you can do it, and then you can distribute it. So even if you have two people watching, that doesn't mean you can't take a clip from that video or that whole video and send it to a potential client and say, this is how I coach, or this is how we deliver our service over time. And they can see you speaking and see what it would be like to interact with you and how you interact with others, and start to feel comfortable and good about doing business with you. And I think that aspect of it is the most helpful to me, more so than somebody watches live and then they're going to buy something or hire me, but that there's a body of work out there, a digital footprint, where if they feel inclined that maybe they'd like to do business, or they heard something good about what I do, they will go look me up. And when they look me up, they'll tell me, I watched your videos. I knew. I mean, it's not to get too personal, but I've even gone on dates where on the first date I've been told, "Oh yeah, I watched your videos or whatever. I knew what to expect or whatever."
I haven't had the dating thing, but I definitely have had the experience.
I would hope not. You're married, lady.
Yeah, I've been married for but I've had clients, prospective clients, show up and say, "I spent the weekend binge watching all of your live streams." And so they show up and they feel like they know me. They know what the rules are. They know what to expect. And they're basically like, "Here's my money." And I'm asking, "And how do you pronounce your last name?" You know, it's wonderful because live streaming really gives people that feeling that you have been talking to them. So we could talk about this all day long.
Yeah.
Let's talk about one last thing and then we'll wrap this up.
Sure.
How excited are you guys to go to South by Southwest?
This will be my second time, so I'm very excited because it's grown ginormously since the last time I've been. So
when did you go?
Back in 2011 or 10. I don't remember, but it's one of those years.
6 to 7 years. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So,
and Ross, you've never been, right?
I've never been to South by Southwest, and I've never been to Austin, and I hear both are great experiences. So I'm really.
However, I will say the experience in Austin during South by Southwest is different than regular Austin. Just so you know.
Of course.
But Austin is an amazing city.
Yeah, my understanding is that Austin during South by Southwest is like any city during the Super Bowl. Like it doesn't look, or like even the Olympics, you know. Like,
South by Southwest is really kind of like the Super Bowl of conferences and marketing and tech events and whatever. So
and then there's the music part, you know. That's how South by Southwest, like the tech is just new. It's really about the music and the concerts. So that's like week 2 after we are the first part, and then it's the music part. So
yeah, I'm really excited. I'm excited to just go to Texas and spend all this time with you guys. I'm really looking forward to that. I don't think the 3 of you have ever met in person.
I don't think so.
Nope.
Yeah. I haven't met Karen in person yet. I've certainly spent time with you guys in person, but I'm looking forward to the 4 of us being together. I'm looking forward to our host, Shelly Franklin, who has graciously invited us to.
Yes, thank you so much, Shelly. Yeah.
We're gonna have so much fun, and I'm really, really just excited to be creating this opportunity for ourselves. So you were talking earlier about gatekeepers, and we love that Facebook Live doesn't have any gatekeepers for us, but South by Southwest does. So we need your vote to get those gatekeepers to pay attention to us, to know that who we are and what we have to offer. So if you would go to livestreamuniverse.com/SXSW. I almost did it.
Oh, you messed it up that time.
After the end of today, you won't have to do it again. And then
voting ends today. We need your vote.
Yes,
and please, we're going to be posting incessantly today. Just share our post, vote for us, and share our post with your friends and family. Again, if you would, we only ask because this is the one way we know to get their attention.
And we would love comments, because comments show that you really feel strongly because you took the time to sign up to comment, because I don't know why the number one tech conference doesn't have a little bit more easy registration process, but really it's very easy to go on and get on and vote if you either sign in or log or sign up. It's very quick process. Please do vote for us. livestreamuniverse.com/SXSW. livestreamuniverse.com/SXSW.
Wow, look at that. That radio voice came out right there. You saw that? That's nice. I like it. Well, you guys, thank you so much for participating. We're going to be dropping all the links below here. There are 15. This is number 15 of 15. There are 15 live streams that we've done. They're all about 30 minutes each. So what is that? I mean, that's 7 hours or so of content that we've shared with you guys to really help you take your Facebook Live game up a notch. And we would love for you to try out some of our ideas and tag us. Let us know you're doing it so we can support you in any way that we can. We
really think people are hungry to hear about Facebook Live for business and the business use cases for Facebook Live. And we appreciate, for those people who've already voted and left comments, I mean, really, we appreciate so much all the support from the live stream community and our friends and family and everything. It's been amazing.
Yes, thank you for that. And last thing, Ross, Monique, and Karen, thank you for being nuts enough to say yes when I called you and asked you to do this with me.
Thank you for asking. It wasn't a hard decision.
Right.
I really appreciate it. It is a lot of work, but I'm so appreciative, and I cannot wait for us to make this happen. It's gonna be awesome.
All right.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. See ya.
Bye.